What's going on, guys? Roger here, QBO Tactical. A little bit of a different video for you guys today. We're not out on the range. We're not vlogging about our day. This video is about the Japan trip that I just got back from. I posted a bunch of pictures while I was out there in our Instagram stories, and I got a ton of questions about the trip. So I figured I would put this video together to kind of answer all those questions for you guys. So if you're not looking to travel to Japan within the next year, or if you're not interested in the vacation that I took, you might want to skip this video. For everybody else, though, that did reach out about the questions or about like stuff with the flight, hotels, where we stayed, all of that stuff, I'm going to break that all down in this video. I did document the entire trip on my personal Facebook page, so I can kind of just go from that and give you guys all the highlights and kind of like what we recommend and what we don't. So first thing is time frame. We went in September and it was super humid, guys. I'm talking like it was like 91 degrees outside and then like 90 to like 95% humidity. So if you're somebody that doesn't like the heat and on top of that you don't like when it's hot and wet, don't go during September. I would wait till maybe the fall or spring. But we did fly out on September 1st. We flew out of LAX and we landed in Tokyo, Japan. We landed at the further airport, which I believe is Narita, which is like almost 2 hours away from Tokyo, like the main like Tokyo station area. But we flew out on Monday at like 8 a.m. and landed in Tokyo at 2 p.m. on Monday. So left Sunday, landed Monday. Now, one thing I do recommend when you get there, like try to stay up. We stayed up until about 7 o'clock, and it puts you up for almost like 27 hours, but we were able to just acclimate to their time zone right away. Airlines, we did fly on Zip Air. Our buddy George, the owner of Battle Arms here in Vegas, we talked to him at his 50th birthday party about it, and he told us, hey, I just flew on Zip Air. It's this awesome like no frills airline. You can literally fly to Japan with a backpack. So if you can fit all your stuff that you want for your travel in a backpack, you can fly there for like $400 one way. With me buying like our meals and our carry-on and our checked bags, I think I ended up paying $1,300 round trip each. So $2,600 total for round trip flights from Tokyo to LAX. I'm going back in November, so I'm gonna try Japan Airlines then. But Zip Air was great. The seats were comfortable. They do have like their first class are these lay down seats, so you kind of get like your own little lay down area if you want to take a nap because the flight is 10 hours. They say the Wi-Fi is good. Everything I read on the Reddit forums was like, hey, the Wi-Fi is great. The Wi-Fi sucked. So definitely, like I downloaded all my shows onto my iPad before I got on the flight, thank God. So definitely, as a fail-safe, have entertainment, whatever you want to do for 10 hours, have that loaded up on your phone, iPad, laptop, whatever you're bringing. Each flight, whether you're in economy or their first class, they all have American plugins and USB plugins, so you can charge all your devices on the flight. No worries there. But like I was saying, for the first class area, those lay-down seats, you got to book them like 3 months out, but they're only $1,000 one way. So for $2,000, you can fly to Japan with like full lay-down seats. I'm kind of getting into the whole like learning about flight stuff. Like first class for $2,000 round trip international is a freaking steal from what I'm hearing. So if that's something you're interested in, you want a super comfortable flight, definitely go that route. Okay, so we arrived Monday. We checked into the Courtyard Marriott in Ginza. Now I got a lot of recommendations on videos about where to stay, and we chose Ginza. Ginza's very nice. It's like more on the higher end luxurious side of Tokyo. They call it the Beverly Hills of Tokyo. So based off what I learned, I probably wouldn't go back and stay in Ginza. I did find another hotel. I think it's called the APA or APA Hotel. That's in like Shinjuku, and that hotel is around like $200 a night, which is like half the cost of what the Courtyard Marriott was. But there are hotels that are like $50 a night. There's definitely some very affordable hotels. You just gotta kind of search on Google. But yeah, we arrived, got to our hotel. We did take the bullet train, and I think that was like $35 a person to go from the Narita airport to Ginza station, and then we walked like 10 minutes to our hotel. I would have instead booked one of the nice shuttle buses. They're like $25 and they take you directly all the way to your hotel. We learned that and we used that going back when we had to go back to the airport. So that's something to definitely look into as well. They offer it when you go to the main like information center. They'll have like bus and shuttle tickets, and it's like, I think from the airport is actually cheaper. I've seen them like $10, stuff like that. Now, first thing I wanted to do when we got to Japan, everybody talks about the egg sandwiches from their convenience stores. The three main ones that we learned about, 7-Eleven, it's much different than the American 7-Eleven, Lawson, and Family Mart. So a lot of you reached out, were like, hey, try this, try that, try this. 7-Eleven, like it's a real convenience store in the fact that like they actually have tables where you can like eat. So you're somebody that's on the run in the morning, you stop in there, you'll get fresh food. Yeah, fresh food from 7-Eleven, and you'll have a place to sit and eat it in there. But I did try their egg sandwich. It was awesome. Comes in a little 2-pack. You guys can see in these photos here, like there's plenty of egg in there, and it's just very fresh, tastes very good. The flavor's all there. Between the three places though, between 7-Eleven, Lawson, and Family Mart, I did have one of my Instagram followers like, hey, Family Mart I think is the best, and I went and tried Family Mart, and I do agree. It had like the thickest and the richest and the most flavorful like egg salad in the sandwich. They also make like combo versions. Like I like tuna fish sandwiches. My grandma made them for me when I was a kid. So you can get like a combo. You can get where it's a sandwich, but like one half is the egg and one half is the tuna, which was cool. So I did get that from Lawson. Now the next day we started exploring, and when we went to Tokyo Station, we found this really cool stand-up sushi place that we actually ended up going back to again. But it's like two chefs that are cutting away at fresh fish. And guys, this is like a train station walk-up sushi place. So there's people waiting in line, and there's 12 spots. And as a spot opens up, you go in, take that spot, and you just, like there's pictures on the wall of the fish that you want, and there's names for it. You write the number down, you hand in the ticket and your table number or your place in the lineup, and they bring it to you. And guys, like I say, the best fish that I've had here, my buddy took me to Vail, and we went to Nobu's other restaurant, which is in Vail, and it's his last name. I don't want to butcher it. But I had sushi there, and that was an amazing experience. This is definitely on par with that, and this was like train station sushi, but which is just super fresh in Japan. And you guys can see like it's very, big and hearty pieces. I also had their Suntory Premium Malt, their beer there. That stuff's amazing. Unfortunately, we can't find it here in the U.S., but the Suntory Premium Malt is something I would definitely go back for, and the sushi spot, which we ended up going to twice. So we found that Tokyo Station. All the sushi that we had ended up being a total of like $38 with drinks for both me and Jade, which it's awesome. Here in Vegas, that would have easily been $100 to $120. That night, walking around in Tokyo, I was walking around in Ginza. Of course, you start seeing some high-end cars, and immediately I found like, an old school Porsche that somebody was driving down the road, which was cool. But very high-end, very like, you have your Louis Vuittons, you got the Seiko Tower, you have all this stuff, like all the higher-end luxury designer brand stores were in Ginza. And then what I wanted to do for our first like full day after waking up was just kind of book something that we're familiar to. So I did book us tickets to Tokyo Disneyland. And you guys right away, wait, what, Disneyland? I know you're thinking, why would you go there? Japan, they don't tolerate any of like the woke shit. So there was like, it's just your classic, Disneyland fairy tale stuff from when you were a kid. Tokyo Disney was cool, but it was a little on the smaller side. So like we were able to get through that whole park in about 3 hours. But tickets to Disneyland were only $52 each. So $100 got us in the park. If you want to skip lines, it was like anywhere from $12 to $20 per ride, which was nothing. So we did skip lines. Took a bunch of photos there, played around, had fun. But we wanted to try the popcorn. My dentist was like, hey, you got to try the curry popcorn when you're there. So we did try the curry popcorn along with some like matcha white chocolate popcorn. You guys can see here. And guys, popcorn was like $4. It's nothing. It's like, and it tastes really good. It's awesome prices. Like the food there at Disneyland was pretty bomb actually. So definitely recommend going there. I would say if you only have time for one though, go to DisneySea, which is the park that's connected to it. And I'll get into that. I would go back for that park. It was really good. In Shibuya, that's where I stopped at Family Mart and tried the other sandwiches that you guys just saw. But also, when we went to Shinjuku, we went to try some fruit. My buddy Talon, you guys know Talon Sai. He was like, hey man, try the real expensive fruit out there. So I grabbed some grapes out of one of the markets in the train station in Shinjuku. And you guys can see here, like the grapes are huge there. Like that thing the size of my hand is like, it looks like, like an acorn. Like it's pretty dang big. But super fresh, very juicy, very filling. Later on, I tried some Concord grapes when we were out at Mount Fuji. And, a lot of people like posted on Facebook, I've never had a grape actually taste like the grape flavor. If you don't know what I'm talking about, like think of like a grape soda or a grape candy. Like the grapes out there, the Concord grapes out there literally taste like that. And that's not something I've ever had here in the States. When we were at Shinjuku Station, we found a ramen spot. It was just like a walk-up, sit down. You go to a screen, order your food, and you sit down, and they bring it out to you. And you guys can see here, like, huge bowl of ramen, and it was duck meat ramen. They were cutting it fresh right there. look at that egg. I mean, everything about that was delicious. The flavor was just on point. And, you know, it's like, I think about like here in Vegas, we have like, I think Monta is a lot, like one of the ramen spots a lot of people go to. Like this doesn't even hold a candle to this. Like this was some of the best ramen I had, and it was at a freaking train station. You know, granted it was all the way in Tokyo, Japan. We did go to the Shibuya crossing. If you guys aren't familiar, that's like that. Like I honestly was a little underwhelmed. I thought it was going to be a lot bigger. You know, you see it in the movie Tokyo Drift, and you think it's going to be this huge thing. But I will say there was a bunch of people that go through there. There is a Starbucks that opened right above it. That's where we got this view from, and you're seeing this like time lapse of a bunch of people walking. But yeah, definitely a lot of people going through there, and I just thought about, you know, that whole Tokyo Drift song the whole time I was there. The next day, we decided to go to Mount Fuji. A couple things about this. Would I recommend going to it? If you've never been, yes. If you're going back to Tokyo, probably not, unless, like for me, it's going to be in the winter, so I'll probably will take the train just down there to see it, you know, snow-capped, because when I went, it wasn't. But we did hike up the 400 plus stairs to go to the pagoda. If you want to hike Mount Fuji, it's like over a 7-hour hike, so we didn't want to do that. But we did, you know, make the trek up these 400 plus stairs to get some pictures of this pagoda that you're seeing in front of Mount Fuji there. There's a lot of overcast, so we did check out the lake that's up around Mount Fuji. Took one of the cable car zip lines up the hill to look at that. Got these awesome photos there. Had some grape ice cream that was really delicious up there. But if you're looking for something to do, like for a day, maybe go to Mount Fuji. You can stay at hotels up there, but we took the bullet train there, $35, took it back. Got there, we left at like 9 a.m. and then came back at like 5 p.m. and we were back by like 7 p.m. in Ginza. But yeah, like Mount Fuji is something I definitely want to see, like this shot here. But if you just want to go there to get the photo, take the bullet train all the way straight to just Mount Fuji Station. Go up to the 6th floor of Mount Fuji Station, and there's a perfect view of Mount Fuji that's unobstructed. There's not a bunch of tourists around like the pagoda spot, and you can get this awesome shot right here without anybody in your way and bugging you. Like to get these other shots that we did at the pagoda, we had to wait in line. There was a bunch of people. But yeah, if you just go to the train station, there's a free deck on the 6th floor. It's a rooftop deck, and you can get an awesome shot of Mount Fuji like this. All right, moving on. Here's those grapes that I was talking about. When you walk from the train station up to the stairs to get to the top of the pagoda, the Chirito Pagoda, that's where we had these grapes. It's like people with their own like stands and from their own gardens and stuff they're out there selling. It's really cool. But I mean, look at that grape. Like it looks like a whole freaking universe inside that grape that I bit open. Now the third day, we decided to do DisneySea in Tokyo. And guys, it's kind of a mix of Epcot, Disneyland, and like Disney Studios. Like they have everything from like an Italian gondola area to like a pirates area to like a Titanic boat out there. Definitely cool. The desserts there were awesome. This ube was amazing with this granola in it. We were able to get like a sausage, one of their beers, and then one of their cocktails. Like all together, you see it's like 780 yen, 750 yen, and 400 yen. That all together was like sub $15. Like just a beer at Disneyland would probably be $20 here in the States. So you got all three for sub 15. We went on Tower of Terror. Awesome, fun ride. I've been on it before, but we were able to pay like $12 and just skip the line. So instead of waiting like an hour in line, we went right in, which was cool. Hot dogs out there were like $4, and then when you bite them, they actually like snap. They're very like fresh, very like it's so much more flavor and so much more fresh. Like less, they don't allow artificial stuff and preservatives and all that crap. We tried the chicken leg, as you guys can see here. That was very tasty. You know, just typical like Disneyland theme park food. But then we stayed there for about 6 hours, just enjoying all the rides and stuff. And then we left there and kind of, I think that day we just went back to the hotel to kind of recoup. Now, when you go to Japan, guys, most restaurants don't open till 10 a.m. So there's a few that, like for breakfast spots that open. One of them is Komita's Coffee. I watched a video on it, and so we decided to go check it out. Cool little breakfast spot. Like you have the really thick toast. We did one with jelly, one with butter, and we did one hard-boiled egg and one with they call it egg paste, but with the egg salad spread. And then we did their coffees. Awesome breakfast, you know, like tastes good, tastes fresh, like everything else. And I want to say total, all of what you're seeing on the screen was like $7. So we did one thing while we were there was that we shared a lot of food, my girlfriend and I, and we did that way we didn't get full because we wanted to taste everything that we could in the short time that we were there. So we got small breakfast, and then one of the things that I do whenever I travel to different countries is I like to try their fast food spots. So I went over to McDonald's. I happened to come out of Comitas and we saw McDonald's, and I ordered an Egg McMuffin. And guys, look at this egg. Look how thick that egg is in the Egg McMuffin. And on top of that, like that yolk right there, it still has some runniness to it, which was great. You know, it's not like the ones that they pour and do in like the cupcake pans here in the States. So, you know, tasted way better. On top of that, I did try a Whopper later from Burger King, which was amazing. We did the double cheeseburger from McDonald's on a different day. So I highly recommend, if you're in any other country other than the U.S., try the fast food and see how it tastes. And to me, it's always been way more fresh, much tastier, and just better ingredients in other countries. You know, Tokyo is no exception to that. Now, one of the days I was out there, I wanted to take the train about an hour away to go to their Costco. That's another thing I do whenever I'm in other states here in the U.S. or in other countries that have Costcos. I try to go to them. Tokyo's Costco like blows ours away. Our Costco sucks compared to what they have. So you guys will see here, their Costco has, you know, I just took some photos. They have like this strawberry cake, but they have fresh sushi there. So I want you to look at this, like this big platter of sushi that you're seeing with the 5 rows. You look down here and it says 3,698. So let's look this up here. 3,698 yen in US dollars. $25.91. So this platter, it's 5 rows of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 different fish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. So there's 50 pieces of fish in there. So you're talking 25, that's 50 cents a piece. Like here in the States, this platter would easily be like $100. So that's super cool to see. Another thing, they have Supreme Pizza there. We lost that here in the States. Supreme Pizza is my favorite pizza, and I'm kind of bummed that Costco got rid of it. But they also had a roasted pork sandwich. We didn't try the sandwich, but we did try the chicken stick and potato. And from this picture here, you would think that's small. It's actually like the size of a KFC bucket, and there's a lot in there. And then the bulgogi bake. Our buddy Kevin, our camera guy, he like whenever we go to Korean barbecue, bulgogi is his favorite thing. So we're actually gonna go back and we're gonna take him there when we're in Japan to go try that. But I would fly back to Japan to get Costco's bulgogi bake. That thing is amazing. But here's the pizza. We split a slice. The bulgogi bake is pretty huge, comparable to the chicken bakes here in the States. But I mean, look at that meat. I would say that it tastes like an Asian Philly cheesesteak sandwich. Like savory, a little bit of sweet to it, but it was pretty dang amazing. Let's see. That night we went to Shinjuku. You can see all the neon lights and stuff. That's why I wanted to go here. So I wanted to come with my camera and take a bunch of pictures, you know, of all of the buildings and all the different neon lights lit up. Kind of, again, like my only, you know, references I can go off for Tokyo are pretty much Tokyo Drift from the Fast and Furious series, which I know like only like 20% of it was filmed there or something. But anyways, we walked through Shinjuku, took a bunch of pictures of the lights and stuff. This is that infamous row of like all the hostess girls. So if you walk down here, this is where they all try to get you to go back to a bar and like, you know, buy drink packages and stuff like that. If you're not familiar, look it up. There's like probably the only thing that gets mentioned about like scam type stuff that I've come across when it comes to Japan. But that's where that is. They also have a bunch of clubs and nightlife stuff down there. But there was like this park walkway on the backside that takes you to Golden Guy. Now, Golden Guy is something that we wanted to go check out because it's a bunch of small little bars. And I'm talking like 6 to 12 people max bars. And like they're like the size of like closets. Think of like your janitor's closet in a building. That's like the size of these things. So you walk down this walkway and it takes you to all of these different alleyways that you're seeing here. And one of them was really cool. We didn't go into this one, but it was, it did open. They normally aren't open, but it was like the Deathmatch Hell, or Deathmatch in Hell. And it's like all like scary horror movie themed. But I did get a picture outside. It was like by the time we got to that door, we walked by it, it was closed. When we came back, it was already fully packed, so we couldn't get in there. But yeah, the alleyways that you're seeing and stuff like that, like that's how small it is. You go in, have a beer. They did have, I can't remember what this is called, but I was talking to a guy that actually lives in Japan. It's either a tequila or a whiskey, but they have a snake in it. It's a snake head or a snake body. And I guess the venom from the snake is mixed into the alcohol, and supposedly like it stops your liver for a little bit so that it helps you get drunk quicker. I wasn't about to try that, so I just passed on that one, but I did want to get you guys a photo of the bottle. They had a Toy Story book that you opened up and actually was the menu for all of the drinks. And I just snapped a few pictures. We ended up running into a couple of people from Philadelphia and California in there, so we were talking to them. They were from the States. But yeah, really cool area. If you're just into like being able to go have a drink and just have nice conversations with people, that's definitely where I would go. If you're from the States, walk around there and you'll hear, like, you can hear people talking. And if you hear English, go into that one and you'll right away, anytime we walked into somewhere else where people from the States were like, hey, what's going on? And we were just talking. It was cool. So we went to 2 of those, hung out, had a good time there. I want to say that was after DisneySea. That night, though, when we got back to our hotel, there was a place down the street called Ginza Sand. And this place is like kind of an if you know type spot. It's a little sandwich shop that's near like all these clubs in Ginza. And I want to say it doesn't open till like 10 p.m. But we went there, and you guys can see here, it's like A5 Wagyu sandwiches. This was the best egg sandwich that I had in Tokyo. They do like they take the egg, the egg salad, they get it into a ball, then they put it in, egg wash with batter and give it like a panko crust. Then they freeze it and they deep fry it, and then it comes out like this, and they put it in a sandwich. And let me tell you, again, I'd fly back for that. But this place, they also had these little like chicken wing things that we got. But this place was kind of on the higher end, like kind of like Americanized, but it was like $40 for those 3 items, and then we had to wait like 40 minutes to get it. But this place is open till 4 a.m. and it's like one of those, like, if you're local, you know about this spot, and it's only a sandwich shop, and like literally it's just that, like what you guys are seeing, this little like sliding glass, or this little glass door area you walk in. Like they only let 1 customer in per time ordering, and then you walk out and the next person goes in. But if you're in Ginza, look for Ginza Sand, because those sandwiches, everything was delicious. Next day, while we were at Don Quixote, I won't go into Don Quixote a lot. There's so much content already on that. So if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, that's like their 18-story, like crazy store. I think the biggest one's 18. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But I think the one that we went to only had 6 floors. But there's a bunch of them everywhere. And that's kind of like your everything store, from like toiletries to like candies to toys to souvenirs. So look that stuff up if you're not familiar with Don Quixote. Look up the song because it's super catchy with Bruno Mars. But anyway, while we were at Don Quixote, we met a guy that moved from California to Japan, and we were talking to him, and he said one of his favorite spots is to go to Amiyoko and Ueno. So we headed down there, and that's like where you guys saw all the street food and stuff. What's the candied fruit called? Tom Hulu? So we immediately had that. You guys are seeing it here. Strawberry, orange, grape, strawberry, grape, strawberry. Coated in sugar. Things were freaking amazing. We ended up coming back here another day to get more of this, and we actually made some here at the house. But yeah, they have all this fresh food down these alleyways that you guys are seeing here. She did try, what are the octopus calls? What is it? Takoyaki. So Jade tried these octopus balls. There's kind of like viral videos on them everywhere. I was not a fan, but they're like fried dough balls. It kind of tastes like a pancake mixed with, I don't know, some sauces on it, but then it has octopus in it, and too chewy for me, but it was super cool to see them made. That the candied fruit, that stuff was amazing, but there's so much fresh food. I tried this sandwich. It was like beef and cheese. It almost tasted like a healthier hamburger helper sandwich. But you guys are seeing here this sashimi. So 3 big pieces of tuna, 3 big pieces of salmon, and 3 big pieces of yellowtail. And you guys are seeing how big these pieces are here in this bowl. Like here in the States, that bowl would be like $40. Their street food, that bowl with rice was $7. Like $7 for that huge bowl of fish was awesome. What else did I try? Because we went to another street food area and tried more stuff there. But you guys are seeing like all this crab. Like some of the crabs are still alive. That's how fresh some of this stuff was. Another place I wanted to go to was Asakusa. That's where I was able to buy the samurai swords that I have. Now, mind you can't buy actual katanas. They're very expensive, like $3,000. But they were telling me you have to like get the police to approve it, and they have to go through customs, and it's like a lengthy process. But they do sell what I believe is called Aietos, which are like the replica ones. So I went to Asakusa, did some research, and found a shop that sells them there. Went there and was able to meet with this awesome old man that I came out and took a photo with us. So I bought I had a couple guys from the QVO crew that wanted some swords. I bought myself like a small sword set that you're seeing here up on my mantle above my fireplace, and then I bought a larger one as well just to have for decoration in the house. But when you go to Asakusa, they have the Sensoji Temple, which this was probably the best picture I took while I was out in Japan. The lighting from the sky and the clouds just kind of came in perfectly over that pagoda. You guys that are wondering, I brought my little Nikon ZFC camera. It's a tiny little crop sensor, like old school retro looking camera. It's got all modern features. That's what I brought with me. And that's how I was able to take all these. I used a 28mm f2.8 prime lens, which is more like a 35mm. So I did kind of have to get back for some photos, but like this was super cool to see. There was actually some locals there for worship, and they were nice enough to allow me. I asked permission and let me take some photos of them in their, authentic outfits and everything like that. So I actually got their emails and emailed them the photos too. They were super cool, and it was kind of like nice to meet them and take those photos. Now another thing I noticed, we took trains everywhere. So guys, when you go there, you'll get a Suica card. If you're not familiar, look it up. But it's the green little transit card that you put on your iPhone. You don't need a physical one. You just use it on your smartphone. But I started looking up information. Like Shinjuku Station, that's one of the main stations there. 9 million people use that train station every day. And guys, this is the condition it's in. It still looks brand new. It's very pristine, very clean. All these people in here grabbing, holding on to upholstered seats, like fabric and cushion, with over 9 million people sitting there every day. Like, look how amazing it looks. It looks brand new. And so it's just kind of learning about Japanese culture and how everybody there just takes care of everything. They're very big on just, like, from my understanding and my experience there, just respecting everybody's property, respecting, things that don't belong to you, and just taking care of stuff. It was really cool to see. Like, I think about subway trains and stuff like that here in the States. Like, we have a train that comes through to Vegas all the time, and it's just littered up with graffiti. Couldn't find graffiti anywhere in Tokyo. I thought I did once, but it ended up being like city markings from like the water company out in Tokyo making their markings for where they had to drill. So and on that too, I only saw 2 homeless people our entire time there. So if you're looking to go to Japan, like, they're very clean there. They're very mindful. They're very big on not disturbing the area around you. So like when you get on the train, they ask you, hey, please don't talk on your phone. They ask that, like, a lot of people take their backpacks off and move them to the front so that way you're not hitting somebody behind you. When you get on the train, you'll see a bunch of people sleeping and nobody bothers them. Like, everybody feels extremely safe there. I believe they're the 9th safest country in the world, and for good reason. Like, it was definitely an eye-opening experience and very cool to see all of that. Now, I told you guys earlier, we stayed in what was pretty much the Beverly Hills of Tokyo, Ginza, and we were walking down the street, and then parked out in front of a 7-Eleven was this Ferrari. I took photos of it because it had it was all made of carbon fiber. It was parked in front of a 7-Eleven or a Family Mart. I can't remember which one, but like the wheels are carbon fiber, the body kit's carbon fiber. I think everything except for the doors. And I posted it, and I sent it to our buddy Calvin. If you guys don't know Calvin, he's got a bunch of supercars out of Dallas. He's got like a McLaren, but it's a Liberty Walk, I guess is what he was telling me, and that's what he has on his, which is a complete carbon fiber body kit. And, I can't imagine, the Ferrari is already probably a couple $100,000 because it's a Ferrari. But now you put a full body kit on that. I mean, what would you say? How much do you think that is?
The kit alone is like up to $50K.
So another $50,000 just in the body kit. And that's probably not including the wheels.
No, the wheels are expensive.
So probably like another $75,000 just in the wheels and body kit. And it's just chilling on the street in Ginza. And down the street from that was like a Lambo. I think everybody's got G-Wagons there. I think like how we see Honda Civics everywhere in the States, everybody there's got G-Wagons. They were everywhere. We did come across, I saw this yellow like Nissan going by, and I guess it's the 2024 Nissan 350Z, and I was like, it caught my eye. And so like I was kind of like running down the sidewalk trying to get a photo of it. And so cool because the driver saw me. So he literally like pulls over on the side of the road and puts his blinkers on and just starts, he's like, hey, if you want to take some photos, and he lets me start taking photos. We had language barriers. We're using like Google Translator, but he's like, yeah, take some photos. And even crazier is that he was in the far left lane. They drive on the left side there. And you would think like here in the States, traffic would be honking like, hey man, you can't park there. What are you doing? Nope, people just drove around. Like everybody's like, oh, he must be doing something. Like nobody's getting angry, no road rage, nobody like making a scene, people just driving around and doing their thing. And that was insane to me. And I took a bunch of photos that you're seeing here. And the gentleman was super nice. He gave me his email. I sent him the photos. He said this one was his favorite, which is, his car parked with the Seiko clock behind him. Again, these were all done with my ZFC and the 28mm f2. But the Nissan 350Z, the new one, like I looked it up on the site. I think this is going for like 42 grand. Like this thing is sweet. It is crazy to me seeing right-hand drive cars, but the interior with that red and black, like just very well done. And then I didn't realize in Japan, they're called the Fairlady Z. And I did a little bit of research, and I think it breaks down to something about one of the former CEOs calling the 350Z a Fairlady back when it was a 240 or something like that. I'm not sure exactly, but that's where it comes from. But man, I think it'd be super cool. Like this started making me think about, like I always wanted a blue Nissan Skyline. So I got, like me and my friends, I got us all little R34 Skyline, little toy cars as souvenirs. But I joined some R34 groups on Facebook, and so I might have to get one of those. I did just buy an American muscle car. You guys might have seen in the intro, cartoon intro of this video. There'll be some more information on that, but actually, I didn't buy it from Japan, but while I was in Japan, I completed the purchase and had it shipped to my house. And I'll more about that in a different video, but like I'm starting to become a car guy and kind of like just enjoying like all the different, you know, you have like this Fairlady, a JDM. I have my Porsche, which is what, Euro, I guess. And then I don't want to say supercar, that's what I was trying to go back and forth. But so the Porsche 997, which I got to update you guys on that. It's all done finally, like how I want it. And then yes, now I have this American Muscle, but I think we need to add a JDM to the fleet, man. But I also probably need a bigger house. But yeah, this Fairlady was super cool. That guy, like it was such a, like the car was cool, but the experience of being like able to interact with that guy, and then everybody like just like over there, people just kind of mind their own business. Like, oh, hey, like I can just go around. Like when you go through the train stations and stuff, everybody's walking on the left-hand side. Like when you go up escalators, you'll see everybody just goes left. They stay on the left-hand side, and if you're on the right side of the escalator, that's used for passing. And if you're not passing, you stay out of that way. So people that are in a rush go up there, and everybody else on their phone and stuff. Like it's just very efficient, very organized. Like just a completely different experience than what I'm used to here. And honestly, it made me a lot more calm. Like I don't like driving. I don't like other drivers on the road. A lot of like you have to remember for a good portion of my life, I was driving a police car every day. So mostly people just got out of my way. Whereas like now, like with traffic and stuff, and everybody that's moved to Vegas, like I hate driving, I hate traffic. So going there and seeing like how efficient everybody was, and just about getting, you know, nobody like they just go to where they're going and they mind their own business. I will say though, like the people aren't warm there, and I don't mean like they're cold and they won't talk to you, but everybody just keeps to themselves. Like here in the States, when you see somebody, you'll strike up a conversation. You go to Starbucks and your barista's giving their drink, like you'll have a conversation with them. That's not how it is in Japan. There's very little like friendly conversation between, you know, like not just me being a foreigner, but just watching other people. It's very much just down to business, and then the conversation is just for the people that you're already friends with. So it's just something I learned there or observed there. We did see a viral video on this place called A Happy Pancake. We tried going there the first day. It was like a 140-minute wait, so we waited till the next day when it opened and we went there an hour before it opened, scanned the little QR code and got a queue in line, and so we were able to get right in at 10 a.m. Place only has 12 tables, but if you've ever seen those like super thick, fluffy pancakes in Japan, that's one of these places. That's one of these places right here. Jade got the pancakes with the strawberry or raspberry. I can't remember exactly what filling it was. And then I got like this like cinnamon, almost like cinnamon pecan style. They were delicious. They were cool. Coffee was good. The egg was good. But would I go back? Probably not, honestly. Like it was a long, like if you had to wait, I definitely wouldn't. But if it's something that you're like, oh, you want to try, just go right away. But just know they don't open until 10 a.m. Definitely a cool spot. I just think it's one of those like super hyped up spots. Whereas there's plenty of other stuff that I would go back for. This just isn't one of them. Not saying it wasn't good, just to me it wasn't like the thing I'd want to go back for the most. Now, with me being a former police officer, like I just mentioned, I definitely wanted to see what the police force looked like there. So a couple of things. When we were Mount Fuji was kind of the first time I saw anything about it, and I came across this police station which has Mount Fuji in the background, so I took this photo. I think that's so damn cool. Like, you know, but also look how tiny the police station is. I'm sure they have a basement. Everything in Japan has basements. When you get to a building, you're looking for a restaurant or something, it's like, hey, is it up on the 20th floor or is it down in the 5th basement? Like they go so deep down below, and they definitely, you know, thought about, like when they put the infrastructure in, they definitely thought about, hey, we need to maximize the amount of space we have vertically because we're limited with being an island. So, but the police department out there, like here's the uniform, is pretty consistent throughout all of the different parts of Tokyo. This night scene you're seeing here, if you look on the left, He's kind of just in the shot that I believe he's a Korean gentleman that has the sunglasses on at night. He was the one that was the instigator. I guess he was pretty intoxicated. There's that suitcase that you guys see in the bottom right here with the green straps. When we got there, he was like jumping up and down on that suitcase, and the police officer, the one that's all the way on the right, looking down with the mask and the gloves, he kind of just grabbed it, took it away from the guy, and just waved his hand like no, and told the guy to like stop. And then that was kind of it, guys. Like they left it. The police station for Shinjuku, this is where this was at, was just a little bit down the street. So I ended up walking down there with them, took a picture of this police car. Through translator, I showed him a photo of me in uniform. It was like, hey, I was a police officer in Las Vegas. Is it cool if I take a picture with you? He's like, oh yeah. He took a photo with me, and he gave me permission to take a picture of their Toyota Crown, which I'll show you guys a photo coming up here. It's pretty cool or pretty weird actually, because the lights like are on like one of those, I don't know, what are they called? Like the things that construction people use to, scissor lift. There you go. Like their lights on top are on a scissor lift. Here you go. This is the photo right here. So like when they park and put their emergency lights on, it kind of goes up like that. And what's cool too is I found this in a little police car version of like a souvenir, like a toy car. So I bought that, but I didn't know that Nissan Skylines, the four-door versions, used to be the police car. So I bought one of those. Funny enough, there was one on Bring a Trailer that it just sold for $15,000 that I almost bought. But yeah, super cool to see the police department out there. I did talk to a lady that travels a lot between Japan and the States. She's a local in Japan. And I kind of asked about the firearms and stuff out there. I guess they are armed with a firearm, but it's very seldom. I guess she said about a month ago from the time I was out there, one of the officers ended up discharging his firearm, and it was like one of the biggest things that happened over there in Tokyo in like the last 10 years. So, I guess when you're the ninth safest country in the world, you're not really dealing with that kind of stuff. And then the only time we saw any type of like disturbance that warranted police response was in Shinjuku. If you guys are seeing all of this like cordoned off area, this is kind of where they throw like an outdoor rave style and people just get drunk. Like learning more about what salarymen are like out there. You have these guys that are so loyal and dedicated to their jobs that they'll party all night, pass out, sleep on the floor because the trains stop at midnight, and then they wake up the next morning and just go straight to work. Kind of crazy. It makes me think about some of my 20s, like partying real hard and then having to go to work the next day. But that's the only time we ever saw like anything that warranted, negative interaction in our entire trip. Back in Ginza on the weekend when we were there, we noticed they shut down the main strip. So where that Nissan was parked in the previous photos, that main strip is shut down to vehicle traffic. And they bring out tables and stuff, and people are having dinner out in the street and just walking. Kind of reminded me of New Year's on the Strip here in Vegas when we shut down the strip and let people walk all up and down. So Jade hopped in there and got a photo, having the main strip of Ginza in the background there. That'd probably be like the equivalent of doing the Las Vegas Strip, like I just said, or like, Rodeo Drive, Hollywood Boulevard, stuff like that. Now, Kappabashi is the kitchen district. Jade's kind of the chef in the house, and she wanted to get an authentic, Japanese kitchen knife, cooking knife, chef's knife. So we went to Tsubaya. We looked them up. Sorry if I'm butchering that name, but we looked that up, and everybody said, I think from videos and forums, that was kind of the best place to go. You guys are seeing some of the knives here. They have carbon steel, which is cheaper, and they have stainless steel, which we wanted so it doesn't rust. We don't have to deal with it. And Jade ended up picking this one out, which just has this awesome, chiseled in stone design. They will engrave them for you there as well, which is really cool. So if you want a custom engraving, they'll do that. There's the other side of the knife. The clerk there did test it for us and sliced through some newspaper. Extremely sharp, and she's been using it here, and it's been pretty great. One of our last days, we went back to Amayoko and Ueno. That's where kind of the street food was. Here's some more photos of the street food area. So you just walk up, sit down, and you're literally just eating there. They had some festival going on, which had a bunch of drummers and all of these different like costumes and different people in this like parade that we're going through. So I was able to get some photos of it. And then took a picture of some of the Japanese yen. And I did this because I was just kind of letting people know, like I made a post about it, but with how cheap it is to go there. We were actually supposed to go on a different vacation, but because of how good the current exchange rate is, we decided to go to Japan. And guys, it was worth it. Like, I don't ever really do travel stuff. You guys don't see travel content. Don't worry, it's not going to turn into a travel channel if you made it this far in the video. But the reason I talking about all this, I've never been to another country, that didn't make me miss the States. Typically, like, I've been to Europe a few times, and when we went back last year, I was like over the trip like by day 7, and we were there for 16 days. You know, for me, like Japan, like I'm literally going back there in November because I'm going to go look at some houses. Not moving there, but I might start living there 1 to 2 months out of the year and vacation there more. Like, that's how much I liked it. One of our last days there, we went to the Nippon Fish Port, which is like the fish market. There we had this Alaskan king crab. Like, this was on the higher end. Like, I want to say this king crab and this A5 Wagyu altogether was like, almost 10,000 yen, which would have been like, I want to say like 60 to 70 bucks at the time. And like, it was huge. Like, like Jade and I, again, we shared it, and so much meat, so tasty. Like, the A5 Wagyu there was like nothing else I've ever had. Pretty dang amazing. I definitely recommend trying it. Like, you're going to be out there, you know, how many times you're going to go to Japan. But it was amazing. It was awesome. I'm definitely going to go back. When we go back in November, we got to go try this again. But yeah, you're seeing it here, like sizzled up right there by this chef. And yeah, that stuff is amazing, guys. On top of that, they had like the sushi deals. They were doing what I think it was like 1,000 yen for this sushi bowl, 1,000 yen for this sushi plate. So 4 pieces of sushi for $7. That's how much 1,000 yen is. So definitely worth checking out. Some of the freshest fish you guys will have. And I know it sounds crazy if you're like, oh, street food. Yeah, it's awesome. I'd go back 100% over and eat that all day long. But yeah, guys, like all together with the transit on the trains, the gifts that I bought, the food that we ate, all of that stuff, I spent less than $1,000 in 9 days. And that's with me buying gifts for everybody on the QVO crew, as well as like some of my family members and some of my friends. So if you have been wanting to take a trip somewhere and Japan's on your list, in my opinion, now is the time to go. Zip Air, definitely check them out for your flights. I'm going to try the Japan Airlines, I think it's JAL. That's what I'm going to try next time. But yeah, things that I loved over there, the food, like the culture, the people, like just their ways in society of taking care of everything. Like, that was super cool to see. Just an awesome, like, kind of like the refresh that I wanted and needed. And like, that's definitely, I'm not big on vacations. I pretty much take one every year, every couple of years, but this got me so excited. I'm definitely gonna go back this year, you know, in November for another week. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them, guys. And like I said, I got a bunch of questions, so I just wanted to share this stuff with you guys. And I had a bunch of people saying, hey, I'm trying to go to Japan. So now's the time to go, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys thought about this. Sorry, the video is 45 minutes long right now. So if you stayed all the way to here, appreciate it. Thank you. And yeah, I'll see you guys we're back to our regular scheduled range stuff. So don't worry. It's not going to be, you know, travel stuff, but, appreciate you guys. And, yeah, this is season 6 of, us on YouTube. We've been doing YouTube for 6 years full time with, QVO and everything. So appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the next one.